Hey everyone, and welcome to this very exciting event. I'm Steve Sherman. I directed AIRNESS at the Clarence Brown Theater, and we are very lucky today to be here with a couple of very special guests. We have Kriston, the co-founder of US Air Guitar Championships, and Nordic Thunder, a world champion air guitarist. Guys, thanks for joining me today. This is really fun, really exciting for us. I feel like I'm here with the James Naismith and Michael Jordan of air guitar. It's so exciting. Kriston, I want to start with you. How did you bring air guitar to the US? What was kind of the inspiration behind it? How did you go about doing that?
Yep. So in a relatively quick nutshell, a friend of mine and I somehow discovered that via the Wall Street Journal, of all places, that there was a World Air Guitar Championships taking place in Finland that had been going on for a number of years. And we were kind of shocked to discover that all these different countries were represented and the United States was not. And that felt like sort of an injustice of some sort. And so we decided, and it was actually initially a TV show idea. So we're like, well, let's just go to Finland, see what it's like. You'll enter, the other co-founder, you enter, I'll film. We'll get the rights to do the official US championships and just see what happens. And as soon as the whole trip, like as soon as we set foot there, it was so perfectly weird and surreal and fun that like we were instantly like, okay, this was a very, very good idea. Like it was the right thing to do was to drop everything and go to Finland. And we're up like way up north on some little island on the very first day. And the first thing we arrived to was a press conference in the middle of the woods on this island where basically there was like BBC Russia, Australian news, like there's news from all around the world in the middle of the woods centered around some English guy, this architect who had won the year before, talking about like Nietzsche and philosophizing about how difficult it is to steal an air guitar. And we were like, okay, at that point, like we were like, oh, we've stumbled into something worthwhile. Basically, at that point, got the rights, came back to the US, put on a show in a deliberately really small space because we didn't know what we were doing. Begged all our friends to enter, to come watch, anybody we could. And then the really fortuitous thing was we sent a fax to Howard Stern. And this is how long ago it was. It was literally a fax. That was sort of like a fake press release saying like for the first time in history, the United States will be participating in the Air Guitar World Championships. And he spent basically half an hour making fun of it. And then that was the most incredible press. And so the first show, no fans could see it because it was it was essentially like a giant press conference in the venue. And there were like satellite feeds outside and lines around the block. And so it just took off kind of.
Was that in New York?
That was in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Nordic Thunder, how long have you been doing it? How did you get started? How did you hear about it in the first place?
Well, first of all, I have been playing air guitar my whole life. I think everyone at some point in time has played the air guitar. I found out that a competition existed in, I think it was 2004, I want to say is when I first heard about it. And a year, or there was actually, no, hold on a second. It might've been, 2004. We'll say 2004 or 5. I'm from Wyoming and I had flown home for a friend's wedding. And the night before I was to fly back, I was in my friend's living room playing air guitar as one does and was rocking out. And somewhere in there, I turned weird and collapsed and couldn't straighten out my leg. It wasn't any pain, but I could not straighten out my leg. So I knew something was up. So I called my mom and was like, Mom, we got to go to the hospital. She hung. I told her, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I was playing air guitar. I can't straighten out my leg. She hung up the phone on me. She thought I was joking because that's what I do. I joke around about ridiculous things like breaking your leg playing air guitar. So I call her back. I'm like, no, this is for real. We got to go to the hospital. Anyways, long story short, I go to the hospital. They do an x-ray. They don't see any damage, but they do an MRI. But at this point now, I'm a few hours away from flying back to Chicago. So I fly back to Chicago. I'm on crutches. I get off the train and I'm hobbling up to my apartment and I see a poster like stapled to this wooden light post near my house. And it was that the US Air Guitar was coming to Chicago. And I had a lot of emotions. Mostly I was really angry that I couldn't do it. Also, I thought it was so stupid that this exists. And also I'm angry because I can't participate in something that is this stupid. And here I am, got crutches, and I'm doing it the night before. So I had like kind of forgotten about the air guitar. And then I actually ended up having my first air guitar related surgery. I tore the meniscus in my knee. So I had to have surgery, forgot about air guitar. And then 2006 is when I began my journey. I entered my first competition in Chicago and won. And then I've just been going ever since. Yeah.
Totally meant to be. And now you've won. So how many championships have you won? How many banners are up at the Nordic Thunder household?
They're hard to see because I have a wall of air guitars that are blocking them. But I've won. I did the 2006 Chicago title, 2008, 10, 11, 12, and then I'm the 2011 US champion, and then 2012 world champion. So I've got a few titles. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, what I love too about in the play, the characters are so impassioned about it, you know, as a sport, and the personas and the right song, and you know, like what is it that speaks to you about air guitar, year in and year out?
It's changed. The first year I really wanted to compete because I was still in college at the time. It was a reason to get free booze. It was a reason to bring my friends out and act like a fool in front of them because I'm already acting like a fool in front of them anyway. So why not come look at me do it on a stage? I really wanted to win. And I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And I wanted to be the best at being a complete moron. And the longer I've done it, the absurdity and the stupidity has not gone away, but it's turned into this something much more. I don't know if I have the words for it. In short, it is. I've evolved as a human being alongside air guitar. There's a very wise man once said that air guitar is like a vessel, and whatever you put in that vessel is what you choose to put in it. So air guitar has become a vessel of mine, and it's taught me how to be a better man, how to love, what actually love is, the many different flavors of love, what relationships can be like, what travel can be like, how similar we are as human beings. We're more similar than we are different. And there's a universal language, and that language is air guitar, and it is love. Air guitar is an extension of love. So it has turned me into like a mushy, hippy dippy. I mean, I look like a psychopath, but my heart has flowered and blossomed open because of air guitar. So I continue to do it now. What's that?
There's a phrase for that. It's called going Nordic.
Yes. And I actually didn't realize this until, so there's a phrase in the air guitar community when someone's getting Nordic. And I didn't know that this existed until I got to Finland. And there's a gentleman there named Jaakko. He asked me one day in the sauna, the first night I'm there, we're standing there naked together. And he's like, "So are you getting Nordic?" And I had no idea what he was referring to. So he explained it to me that he had been told by Bjorn to Rock and maybe even from Kriston that when someone I have a tendency to be very open and emotional, and I feel comfortable and safe in the world of air guitar. Like, that is another thing. I really feel like I can completely be myself in the community of air guitarists because there's no one's judging anyone. It's like it's a circus of freaks, and everyone is welcome. So it has allowed me to really fully be myself, and which I am a very emotional man, and I cry at these events, and I love my competitors and my brothers and sisters. And so when someone's getting very open and emotional in the air guitar world, it's referring to as, oh, they're getting Nordic. And nice. Justin's getting Nordic again. And Hot Lick Houlihan once said, Nordic Thunder cries at you like it's like he's crying at you, which I thought was kind of funny.
There's a line in the play that says, you know, it's built on camaraderie, not just competition. You know, and when you're on stage, you know, you give it all you got, but it's like the community of air guitar seems really cool,
which is like fantastic about the show. And I think I had not seen it until we watched it together recently. And seeing the being involved with the air guitar as long as I have, and knowing all the behind the scenes and the underbelly of the air guitar versus just what one would see on the surface, the show nails all of that. It gets down to the relationships, and it's more than just a competition. It's a warm hug. It's a wonderful thing. So the show in that regard was fantastic.
Now, Kriston, how was it for you to see a show that was based on something that you brought to the US? And what is it about air guitar that, because you don't perform, so what is it about air guitar that, you know, it makes you love it year in and year out for so many years?
Yeah, I think it's also like I'm by far the biggest dork because I essentially I facilitate air guitar for other people, which is even dorkier, I think. And I think why is it's incredibly fun to see if you can produce something really interesting and valuable, and whether you find it funny or like intense or stupid or brilliant, doesn't matter almost, but you're creating out of nothing, basically. So you've got to figure out how. It's a little bit probably like any theater, really. I always kind of thought of it like, oh, it's the purest form of theater or expression, because there's really nothing there, and it's all illusion, and it's all based on how the different people in the room are kind of reacting to one another and what's going on. So you've basically got, and I think so that's always been interesting, and it just produces weird experiences. So we'll have like bizarre judges. We'll have like Eric Snowden, Edward Snowden tweeting that his lawyer is too busy judging air guitar competitions, or strange, funny stuff happens. Yeah, like the experience, like Nordic on Dr. Pepper commercials, going on tour for 6 weeks like a rock band with very little equipment. So it's kind of like I do think it's both intellectually interesting to try to create these events and make them really fun. Yeah, and then it's also just life experience interesting because it creates weird opportunities, like even this, like that the show exists, that we're talking about this show. So that's all great fun. And I think the show was really, you can tell that the show gets the subculture. It was really, really clear. And I will say, like,
there's a lot of like biographical stuff in there.
Yeah, and even like inside references. I think, right?
Like someone had a spy within the air guitar world and was like taking information and then leaving with, oh, look what I've got. Like it was really well.
And there's a lot of names based on there's Golden Thunder. I feel like that was maybe partially inspired by you, Nordic. And it is really cool that it's like air guitar inspired the show, and then hopefully the show AIRNESS will also bring more awareness of the air guitar circuit. Speaking of air guitar numbers, Nordic, how long does it take you to prepare one number? Like how long do you work on that, a new number each year?
That's a good question. I think honestly the hardest part, actually it's the hardest part, and it's also the easiest part. The hardest part and easiest part is finding a song. It's hard if I actively am searching for a song. That makes it difficult. So much like everything in life, air guitar has taught me a lot of lessons about life. And this is a fine example of one, just editing a song. When you release the sense of control over the means in which you think you have control over, which we have control over really not much of anything, that includes choosing a song for air guitar. When I would release the idea of like, I need to find the song always finds me. I'll hear it and be like, dang, that's the tune I'm going to play. So once the song finds me, then it's off to the races. I get an edit done pretty quickly. Then I spend a lot of time, practicing the song. I don't like to get to a point where I am so well rehearsed that it looks squeaky clean. Like, it's glass that you can see through. Like I like some fingerprints and smudges on there. I don't want it to be too perfect, but I will videotape myself on my computer doing my routine, and like then go back and watch and say, all right, yeah, that move works really good there. I can do a spit here or a hair whip there, and just kind of get some, some bullet points and then build the routine around that. So I don't know that I have like a solid answer for you. There's a lot of hours spent in preparing though. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it sounds done. I think you totally answered the question. Yeah, Kriston?
Just one theory. I'd be curious, Nordic, what you think about this. I've always had a theory that, and it's interesting you say the song finds you, that if I'm watching competitive air guitarists and I feel like this person loves that song personally, it turns me off. It actually I kind of don't want to see that. It's like, because then they're not really doing it to entertain us. They're kind of doing it to just, it's like masturbatory on some level.
Sure.
So I think people, like those are the subtle, like I've seen like an ungodly amount of air guitar and have over the years like slowly derived my vision for what like a perfect air guitarist or a competition should be. And one of the maxims would be pick a song for what you're trying to do for the benefit of the crowd and the judges. Do not pick a song because you personally love it. And even if you do, don't let us know, because it's sort of subtly off-putting. So it makes sense. It makes sense that you would say the song finds you. Yeah.
And as, I mean, I fully embody my character. Like it's weird referring to myself in third person, but Nordic Thunder and Justin they're different beasts. And Nordic Thunder, it's interesting to hear you describe that, Kriston, because the songs in which Nordic Thunder performs to is not music I'm sitting around like jamming to every day. Like Nordic Thunder plays a very specific type of music and it fits the character, and it's what an audience member would expect to see that character perform to. So I think Kriston.
I think it's okay for the persona to love the song.
Sure.
The person can't. And if I feel like the person loves it, then it's like it's messing it up somehow.
Well, and this feels so much like acting in theater, like putting on the costume of the character, getting into their shoes, and it changes you and it transforms you into this other thing.
And we've always said, I've always counseled young guitarists to have a 3-act structure in their 60 seconds, because so many people wouldn't do it, and it would really, you can get bored in 60 seconds, and if there's not a strong ending, you get left a little flat. So there's just simple.
Well, 60 seconds goes by so fast, it seems like. So
that's
really good advice.
It can be slow. It can be brutal.
It can be very brutal.
It can be brutal.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, jumping off that, and because we're going to have to wrap up, Kriston, what can people do if they want to join the air guitar circuit?
Just go. I think it's very easy. Go to US Air Guitar. Look for upcoming events, join the email list, and you'll get notified every time there's new things coming up. There are some slots left right now if somebody wants to enter the online regionals. And this year I'll say is exciting because last year was the first time because of COVID, we did it all on Twitch. We're doing regionals this year on Twitch, but they're feeding into a finals that, I'm knocking on wood, will likely be shot live. But either way, we'll actually be on ESPN. So that's the big news this year. So
people playing from their own homes and recording themselves, or doing it live
for
the
the Twitch show, it's record a performance, send it in, but there's live judging kind of whole show that goes on around it. Then the finals will be filmed live, but broadcast on TV after.
Oh, awesome! And where are the finals going to be this year?
We're still working that out. It's complicated. It's complicated because there's a pandemic rules and shooting, like where the shooting crew might be and stuff like that. But we're working on it.
So I want to interrupt for a second, because Kriston just gave he's the co-founder of Air Guitar, and he's going to hit all these points. I would like to add also that if someone wants to get involved in air guitar, everything Kriston said is true. However, one should want to and be willing to make a fool of themselves, and be embraced to do so, to be able to have a place where you are safe and you may not be comfortable. That's another story, but you're safe to be uncomfortable with people who are like-minded and open-minded and are going to be nothing but love and support, and they're going to become your new best friends. So there's another little nugget for those who feel like competing.
Yeah, to be willing to look like a fool, but really go all out and go there.
Yes.
And know you'll be supported. That's
be
awesome.
Supported, yeah.
Well, hey, hopefully we can bring it to Knoxville, Tennessee, a little like Appalachian regional.
Do it. Yeah.
I think it would be super awesome. Kriston and Nordic Thunder, we are so thankful to have you today with us on Theater Thursday for this Facebook Live event through the Clarence Brown. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. An awesome job with AIRNESS as well.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really fun to watch it with you all. So,
and congrats to the cast as well. The cast was everyone was fantastic. Everything about it was really, really fantastic.
Thank you, guys. That means a lot coming from you guys. So, and thank you all for watching at home. We'll be signing off with Kriston and Nordic Thunder. Thank you all so much. Keep rocking on.